on, let's go have a look. Come on.
All right, guys, so starting out the last leg of the collection tour here. I've got a Ponda Baba for you. How awesome is that? That's a Hasbro Ponda Baba from back in the day, 12-inch scale, 1/6 scale, what have you. Picked him up at Walmart when they were closing down a Walmart and opening up a new one, and he was marked down to like $4, and the box was thumped. But picked him up for like $4. That's kind of fun. I got a Jar Jar Binks piggy bank back there, which is really cool. And then I've got a Muppet as a Jedi Knight there. I forget his name. It's like Harold the Hawk or something. Someone can correct me in the comment section. I can't remember his damn name. But anyway, I got him at Disneyland, which is really, really fun. There's a Mandalorian piece of art that I got at Hobby Lobby right there. Just picked that up in the last couple weeks, actually. And then up here, I've got the Kotobukiya C-3PO and R2-D2 from the Yavin 4 ceremony. That's a really nice piece. That piece came, and like I said earlier in the video, every single collectible has a story. That one certainly does. Got that piece when my wife was in labor with my second born son, and I was at the hospital, obviously, with her, and I had Uncle Pat, my good buddy, run over to the house and pick that up for me so it didn't sit on the doorstep for 3 days. So that's really fun. I got my Star Wars storybook from when I was a kid. That's a hardcover edition of the Star Wars storybook, full of color photographs, absolutely gorgeous. And of course, you know it's mine because it's got my name on it, MFers. So yeah, don't even try to take that because my name is on there, and you're not going to take it because your mom will know you took it from me. So yeah, screw you. So no, that's just cool. That just really brings it home, doesn't it? That's what it's all about right there. I got my C-3PO collector's case from when I was a kid. My mom took me over to Toys R Us when we lived up in Fort Collins, Colorado. My mom took me to Toys R Us after I had a bad dentist appointment and bought that for me. That was really nice of her. Got the Droids on video cassette. Bought that in college, even though I loved that TV show as a kid. And I talked about that series in a earlier video this month, and I'll probably talk about it here in a minute or two when we get down to the shelf that my lunchbox is on from that series, but really cool. And then I've got that Dewback. That's a more recent Dewback that came out in like 2012, something like that. Really hard time finding a Stormtrooper to sit on that, though. You need a Stormtrooper with a lot of articulation. I don't know if I have one, or a Sand Trooper, I should say, but still really cool looking Dewback. And then I'm going to just keep going along this shelf here, and then I'm going to double back and show you guys my Jabba stuff. That's a Master Replica's lightsaber there on a little tiny acrylic stand, just like my Darth Vader lightsaber. I picked that up at an antique store a number of years back, and it was like $100. I got it for a steal, and I'm not wondering if it wasn't stolen itself, just based on how cheap I got it. But really, really cool, fully die cast. It's really awesome. There is a vinyl Star Wars carrying case back there. That's not from my childhood. My wife bought that for me when we were dating at a hobby store or a collector store. That's long since gone out of business, but that's really fun. There is the Heart of the Jedi novel. That's a fan novel that was just released on Amazon, put together. It was originally a Lucasfilm official novelization, but never got published back from, I think, 1993. Someone got the transcript and put it out and self-published it on Amazon, and it was outselling Disney Star Wars books on Amazon, so the mouse put the boot down on it, but I was lucky to get my own copy of it before they did that. So those are going for a pretty penny right now on eBay, so I'm really happy to have my copy. I don't even know if I'm going to read it, but it's just nice to have it and keep it as crisp as possible, just because it's kind of rare at this point. And then right there, I've got a Dark Empire 3 3/4 inch Hasbro, or Kenner maybe, Luke Skywalker. There's a carded Stormtrooper figure that came with my carbon freeze chamber. There is my Darth Vader carrying case. That's not from my childhood. That is another piece that I think it was the same trip to the hobby store, to the collector store. My wife picked that up for me, that Darth Vader collector case. I've had that as an adult, but I did not have this as an adult. That is my Return of the Jedi pencil case or pencil bag that I got in the 3rd grade, and I loved it so much that I took really good care of it over the course of 3rd grade and then retired it and kept it in my room and kept it safe ever since. So there it is on a nice little acrylic case. There is, up right next to it, is a Kenner. Sorry, keep my finger out of the shot. There is a Kenner Darth Vader 12-inch figure Really cool. And he's in pretty good shape. I'm missing his lightsaber, but I've had him for, I think I've had him for like 20 years. I bought him as an adult collector, but I think I bought him back in like 2000. There's a Black Series Empire Strikes Back Chewbacca. There is Darth Vader, sort of a gimmicky looking Darth Vader. Picked him up. I think he's from Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. But he's really cool. He's kind of got that Ralph McQuarrie tusk forwarded kind of protruding mask there, and the eyes, the real beady insect kind of eyes there. Very Ralph McQuarrie-esque. That's pretty awesome. Alrighty guys, so before we go too much further that direction, we're just going to kind of step back just a little bit and check out this next set of shelves that I have. All right, now guys, I just got to tell you, my collection is just like a Snickers bar right now. It's just like packed with peanuts. But anyway, so we're going to look at this whole shelving unit right here, and we're just going to start out right on top with my Jabba the Hutt premium items here. The first one up is the Bib Fortuna there. That's from Sideshow Collectibles from back in 2010, maybe 2009, I'm not sure. But anyway, I also have that awesome, cool Jabba the Hutt environmental piece with the malfunctioning shorted out light circuit there in the wall there with the control panel. That's the original Sideshow Collectibles Luke Skywalker there, but I actually have him with a Hasbro Jedi cloak on. The one that the Sideshow one didn't really age very well. It was the wiring in it was getting kind of messed up, and it just didn't lay right on him. So I actually have a Hasbro version on it. Actually, I kind of like the darker color on that. The Sideshow one was more brown, like Bib Fortuna there, like Bib Fortuna's overcoat there. So I kind of like the darker color on there. Kind of rings more like Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian a little bit, but really, really cool. And then, of course, here's my latest huge purchase that I picked up. And that is, of course, I have traded out my old Sideshow Collectibles Jabba the Hutt. I sold him to my good buddy Uncle Pat. And I got the newer, I should say, Sideshow Collectibles Jabba the Hutt. And I did a video on him, maybe a month or so ago. But yeah, he looks absolutely stunning. Really, really love him. And like I said, you can go back and watch my video I did on him. I did a full comparison on him with the earlier Sideshow Collectibles Jabba the Hutt, Jabba versus Jabba video, so to speak. So if you want to check that out, that's not too far down my playlist as far as my videos go here on Knickknacks Plastic Planet. So good stuff there. Gamorrean guards are hanging out in Jabba's palace. Of course, these are both Sideshow Collectibles Gamorrean guards. One of them is a standard Gamorrean guard. This one right here. And then this guy over here is Gartog, and you know he's Gartog because he's got the broken horn on his head, and he's a little more derpy looking than the other Gamorrean guard, but very, very cool. And then of course they've got this nasty looking Jabba the Hutt palace dog. I forget what his name is, but he came in that creature pack that I talked about earlier in the video. Got a pair of handcuffs down there, binders. I'm not sure what that's to. But very cool. And then, of course, I got the Lando Calrissian in skiff disguise hanging out and scoping out Jabba's palace and waiting for the opportune moment to help free Han Solo from Carbonite, which is back here. That is the earlier Sideshow Collectibles Han and Carbonite that came out a number of years back when the rest of the Jabba the Hutt environmental pieces came out. So that's really, really cool. So again, I'll just going to kind of back out here and show you guys my Jabba the Hutt scene in all of its entirety. And I think it's looking really, really damn good. Oh, there's Salacious Crumb hanging out there. So yeah, very, very cool. Now let's go down and check out each one of these shelves. And I've got a number of just sort of a mixed bag on each one of these shelves, mostly vintage, but there's some other surprises on there as well. Alrighty guys, before we check out the shelves though, check out my trash can. This is my Return of the Jedi trash can. Nice metal trash can. Picked this up at an antique store a couple years ago, and that's the reason I bought that plastic R2-D2 one that's on the other side of the room, just because I was worried that I was going to ruin this one by because I drink a lot of pop and stuff, a lot of diet pop, and I'm afraid that it could get sticky or something. So anyway, didn't want that. So anyway, both sides there's the villain side, and then just really, really cool. And then there's the hero side again. Yeah, I had this trash can when I was a kid. Not this particular one, but I had this trash can when I was a kid. And yeah, found it for $25 at an antique store a couple of years back. And I know he's going on eBay for almost $100 now. So very, very cool. Anyway, let's get into the shelves now. This first shelf there, I've got a Sideshow Collectibles Han Solo back there. And then the mainstay of the shelf is my Micro World Kenner playset Bespin World there with the carbon freeze chamber up there. And then, of course, the Bespin Gantry way with Luke Skywalker dueling it out with Darth Vader, and he already fell off, so the reveal scene has already occurred. So he's flipping and flopping his way down into that deep abyss. So very, very cool. There's a Gentle Giant IG-88 back there as well, so that's a fun shelf. And, you know, guys, I can't say this enough, and I haven't really mentioned in the video yet, but, man, you know, acrylic risers are your best friend. I order a bunch of these acrylic risers, and that's what that carbon freeze chamber is on off Amazon for only like $12 for a whole set. And you know what? It just really helps, you know, helps stagger out your collection and really helps highlight pieces, because this whole scene there was really difficult to keep on a shelf and to keep kind of highlighted, but because I have an acrylic riser under it now, it looks really, really good, I think. Moving over onto the next shelf, we got the Dagobah play set. This is a classic, man. This is a classic. That is my childhood Luke Skywalker there. The Yoda and the R2 with sensor scope I got as an adult. I really made a big push a number of years back to kind of recollect the Kenner line, and I'm glad I did when I did, because they've gotten so expensive. They were expensive then too, but they weren't nearly what they are now. So really pleased I was able to fill in some gaps in my original vintage collection back then. And so that's just really nice. And then also I've got the Yoda puppet back there, and that is from my childhood. That I got as a kid. And then that vinyl Empire Strikes Back carrying case I bought at the same time I got those other carrying cases up there at a hobby store. I think my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, picked it up for me. She was really damn nice, wasn't she? Glad I married her. She's a good gal. What can I say? Thumbs up. All right, and then moving down the shelf here, this is my Hoth World micro playset, and this is from my childhood, and it's not complete. I'm missing the shield generator and the turret set, but other than that, it is pretty cool. And yeah, you got the Echo base there with the ion cannon, very cool. And then of course you got the Wampa Snow Cave. And somewhere along the line, I misplaced my Probot. I had it as an adult. I don't know what the hell happened to it. So that kind of sucks. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. The micro figures are all die cast and they're a little scuffed up. But you know, that comes with age. It's very hard to keep those things looking nice through childhood. And all these pieces were from my childhood. So very, very cool. Glad to have them there. And then there is the Art of the Empire Strikes Back behind it there. That's a book I picked up a number of years back. And then as we continue down the shelf, there is the Return of the Jedi droid dungeon. That's actually just a remold of the original droid factory that was sold during the original Star Wars years. But this one was sold in 1983, 1984, and it came with 3 figures. It came with EV-99 there, Barada, and Headhunter. So that's really cool. And then I added 8D8 and the Rancor Keeper in there as well. And so that's very, very cool. That is, like I said, that is from my childhood, including all those figures are originally from my childhood as well. And then in the back there, I've got a Metacom Boba Fett and a Hasbro Zuckuss. So they're kind of hiding back there. I don't know if that's a great place for them or not. You kind of can't really see them, but that's, you know, pretty cool. Alrighty guys, so moving down the shelf here, guys, I've got the 30th anniversary of Luke Skywalker in his Yavin ceremonial outfit on there. And then, of course, I've got the Black Series version of the same character in that box right there with the art from the first new issue of Star Wars from Marvel Comics when Disney got the property back from Marvel got the property back from Dark Horse. That's kind of cool. Got that Disney Elite diecast R2-D2 right there. That's a nice figure. And then I've got a Gentle Giant Han Solo along with Tiki Darth Vader and ugly. I got some glasses back there with some First Order Stormtroopers adorning them. I haven't gotten it all purged from my collection, guys, but I am working on it. Like everyone else, I was kind of excited around the time The Force Awakens came out, and yeah, had a lot of buyer's remorse since then when it comes to those particular items from Star Wars. So yeah, we're slowly getting them out of the collection, guys. Slowly but surely. Talking about some good Disney Star Wars, though. We got some Mandalorian love here. Picked all these items up just recently and had them on the channel. In addition to that, I've got my comic books and source books back there. Really, really cool. A lot of different books going back. Some of them going back 20 years. I got the Steve Sansweet action figure archive book there, right there. And got a number of comic books. I got the entire Clone Wars Dark Horse comic book series back there as well in graphic novel form. And then I don't collect a lot of pops, and I always say that every time I buy a pop, but I seriously don't collect a lot of pops. But I do have this awesome, cool Mandalorian on Bantha with Grogu there. Got that pop figure, and then I've got the Yoda, the baby Grogu back there eating a frog. They're actually kind of more like bobbleheads than pops, but they are still made by Funko Pops. And then I've got these really cool retro series, vintage inspired Kenner-esque Hasbro Star Wars 3 3/4 inch figures from The Mandalorian. Those are really, really fun. I don't know, like I mentioned in the last video, I don't know if I'll get the entire line of those, but what I do have is pretty cool. And if I can find more, great. If not, I'm not gonna bust my ass to get the entire set, but still really cool. Then moving down the shelf, guys, again, I showed this all off in my last video, so this is a little redundant, but I got that awesome Droids lunchbox. Didn't have that, that's not from my childhood, that lunchbox, but I did have it as a kid. And I told that story in my last video, so I won't go back too far and as far as retelling that story. But anyway, just got a nice little droid shelf sort of there, sort of a Droids homage shelf there with that lunchbox. I loved that series as a kid, so very, very cool. And then one more shelf over, I've got some Star Wars novels back behind there, including the Thrawn trilogy and the novelizations of the prequels. But in front of that, I've got this really cool Black Series set up with Darth Vader and some stormtroopers and some explosion effects and some stretched out cotton balls to make it look like smoke. I don't know if I'm pulling it off, but I think it looks pretty cool. Alrighty, guys, moving away from the shelves, we are almost done. Thank you so much for hanging with me this long. And if you have hanged with me this long and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to Knickknack's Plastic Planet. Boy, we have a good time here on the Plastic Planet. Anyway, guys, I've got a Star Wars Power of the Force AT-AT Walker still in box right there. I've had that since probably 2000, maybe 1999, not sure. There was a giant liquidation sale at Toys R Us when I don't know, a bunch of this shit ended up in warehouses and it was like closed out for cheap. They were selling AT-ATs for 20 bucks back in the day, and I managed to pick up a couple of them, and one of them I kept in the box. I've also got that awesome, cool Star Wars Collector Fleet Imperial Star Destroyer still in the box, and that's pretty damn cool. Still got the price tag on it from KB Toys. You guys can see that price tag marked down. And this one was also from KB Toys. I said Toys R Us, I lied. I did get some of it at Toys R Us, but this one I got at KB, and you can see that's marked down to $24.99. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, very, very cool. There's some early 2000s, late 20th century Star Wars history for you guys. I got an episode 1 display scene. What were those called? What do they call these things? I forget. They're like scenes from the movie, and there was a bunch of them. I've got a bunch of them downstairs in storage still too. But I've got the cool episode 1 scene there with Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul dueling it out there. Very cool. Got another Return of the Jedi lunchbox. I told you I got a bunch of these. I got 3 of them currently. But there's another one. They just kept coming because my wife and I collect lunchboxes, and we just kept getting these lots that happen to have this lunchbox in it. So kind of funny. And then there is an episode 1 TC-14, I'm sorry, still in package. They got him for $14.99. My intention was to customize him years and years and years ago, like 20 years ago, and I never did. Never got him out of the box, but he looks cool. Still in the box there, so that's pretty awesome. And then coming up here, I've got a life-size Yoda, and he's kind of I don't know, he's funny. I think he was made in someone's basement, honestly. When I bought him off eBay for like 300 bucks back in the day, and it was from a company called Cryptic Creations, which I've never heard of and never heard of since. But I mean, he's pretty cool. He used to have a fluorescent light-up lightsaber, which is long gone, but he's pretty cool. I've talked about him on the channel as well. Alrighty, guys, so moving up for my life-size Yoda here, I've got more of my Kenner vintage collection. And you guys know all these guys' names, so I don't need to give every single one of them an individual shout out. But yeah, looking pretty awesome here. I like that yellow shelf I put together years ago for these. It just really makes them pop and kind of reminds me of an old Kenner card back a little bit. The way the figures look on that yellow. So definitely brings out the colors in them. Very, very cool. Up here I've got a basically that's a Power of the Force 2 ATST. Being basically a stand-in for a vintage Scout Walker. I had the Scout Walker as a kid, but it didn't really survive my childhood. Very well intact. And so I'm using the Power of the Force 2 one I bought over 20 years ago now as a stand-in. So that's kind of cool. And in a similar fashion, I'm using this old, well, it's not old, but it's not a vintage Jabba skiff. It's actually the re-release from a number of years back. It's not 20 years old, but it's probably at least 15 now. But anyway, I forget what line that came out of. Maybe Power of the Jedi, I'm not sure, or Saga. But anyway, it's not the vintage skiff, which is worth a lot of money. This is a more modern stand-in. But I've got vintage figures up there, and I actually got that Jedi Luke that's on there just today in the mail. Bought them for 20 bucks off eBay, just so I'd have another vintage Jedi Luke Skywalker to have for this particular scene. The one down here, right there, is my one from my childhood. All these figures here, almost all these figures are from my childhood. I shouldn't say all of them. There's a few exceptions, but almost all these are from my childhood. So very, very cool. And then moving along over here, guys, I've got the Death Star playset. What Star Wars collection would be complete without a Death Star playset? Well, certainly not mine. I bought this as an adult, actually. Shout out to my current boss. She gave me a gift card to eBay for Christmas a number of years back for the holidays, and I used it to buy this. And I got a pretty good deal on it. I got it for a little over $100, and it's pretty well intact. I mean, some of the cardboard's faded out a little bit. Some of the stickers are a little frayed and whatnot, but still looks really, really good. And of course, I've got some figures on there. That Darth Vader there is from my childhood. The Obi-Wan I bought later on. The Luke Skywalker I bought later on, as well as the Princess Leia and the Stormtrooper. But the Chewie and Han Solo there, peeking out of the garbage compactor, those are from my childhood, as well as that Death Squad Commander, that's from my childhood as well. Reproduction foam inside of that Death Star as expected, because I mean that foam doesn't last 40 years, give me a break. So anyway, very, very cool. I love that piece a lot, and it's sort of I wouldn't say it's a centerpiece, but it's definitely a long time in waiting grail for my collection. And like I said, I never had it as a kid and always kind of wanted it, so I was really excited to get it in my 40s. Better late than never, right? Alrighty, guys, we are moving along here, and we are almost done, I promise you. But right now, we've got the Sideshow Collectibles Mos Eisley Cantina going on there. Very, very cool. That's a huge piece. I just can't do it justice here on camera, but that is a huge piece. I've got it kind of supported there with a detail shelf that I wasn't using. But anyway, and then I've got the furniture pieces that were sold separately from that, and there are some light up features on there, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to get lit up where it is on the shelf there. But anyway, very, very cool. I've got Greedo chilling out in there. Greedo threatening Han Solo there. That's a great Sideshow Collectibles piece. I don't think they haven't done a Greedo since, and I don't think they need to, because that one is damn near perfect. I love that Greedo a lot. The Han Solo has a lot to be desired. That's a Sideshow Collectibles Han Solo. Obviously the Hot Toys one far surpasses that, but he does a great job as a stand-in, I suppose. And there's like Momon not on there, or whatever his name is. It's Hammerhead, guys. It's Hammerhead. That's from Sideshow Collectibles. That is probably one of my very favorite aliens that Sideshow Collectibles ever did. They just nailed him. He looks so damn good. I love that figure a lot. I've had him for a really long time in my collection, but he is awesome. He's one of my favorites. Very, very cool. And then right next to him, I've got Han and Chewie there in premium format scale. There's our Chewbacca and Han Solo, obviously, and looking really, really good. This is the first Chewbacca that came out from Sideshow Collectibles in premium format, as well as that's the first Han Solo. They did Chewie just, again, recently in the last couple of years. Pretty much the same statue, but with just a little slightly different variation on the base. The Han Solo's been redone as well, I believe. I don't know if the New Hope version has been redone, but they did an Empire Strikes Back version that I reviewed here on the channel that my good buddy Uncle Pat owns. But this is mine, and he's from A New Hope, and he's the original Han Solo that Sideshow did in that initial wave they did back in 2005, 2006. So anyway, he's all right. He holds up okay for the time. Alrighty, guys, and then moving down the shelf, they've got a TIE Advance. They've got some die-cast ship love there, the Snowspeeder, the AT-AT Walker, another Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. There's some Hasbro love there with Hoth Han and Chewie. There's a Master Replicas mini Han Solo blaster from The Empire Strikes Back. That was a Comic-Con exclusive, I think, going back to 2000. I want to say 2006. I was at that Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, back then, and I think I bought that there. So that's kind of cool. Coming down the shelf, I've got some more Gentle Giant love there. I got Anakin Skywalker from Episode 2, C-3PO. There's a Hasbro C-3PO and R2-D2, a more modern version of them. A Gentle Giant Jedi Luke Skywalker. I like that piece a lot. And there is a Jedi, but an X-Wing Luke Skywalker as well. Coming over here, here's a shelf that I just recently kind of curated in my collection because I bought the Sideshow, or Kotobukiya, I should say, more accurately, Tusken Raider statue. That's a vinyl statue. I reviewed it this month here as part of Star Wars Month on the Plastic Planet, so that's very cool. And then, of course, I've got some Black Series love mixed in there with some vintage. And then, of course, there is the Power of the Force 2 Bantha, which is just awesome. Holds up so awesome. That is still, to this day, even though that figure is over 20 years old. I think he came out in 1998. 1998! But he still is like almost one of the best creature, 3 3/4 inch creatures I own. In fact, I think he is the best 3 3/4 inch creature I own. The Tusken Raider that is on top of him, though, did not come with him. That is I think that's a VOTC Vintage Original Trilogy Collection Tusken Raider that I bought a number of years later. But still very, very cool. Alrighty, guys, still on that last leg, we got the Jazz Inc. 1/6 scale Land Speeder. I reviewed this month on the Plastic Planet. You guys can find that video just fresh at the top of my video list here on Knickknacks Plastic Planet. Amazing looking piece, but I just talked about it just about 3 videos ago, or 2 or 3 videos ago, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on him. There's my Hot Toys Luke Skywalker, really cool. Bought that picture to go along with it just recently off eBay. Just found that, I don't know, somebody did some work there and put that together, and I don't know. And so I thought it was kind of cool. So I bought it, $10, whatever. Nice little picture, nice little print there. And then, of course, I've got my old Sideshow Collectibles premium format Darth Vader, still lit up with its AC adapter, which is really nice. I know the colors are a little washed out on this thing, but it's just nice to be able to have something and just to be able to turn it on. That's just something that modern stuff just doesn't have. It's just like everything's such a pain in the ass. One switch turns everything on, the belt boxes, the chest plate piece, the lightsaber. It's just really nice. I don't know. Again, I know the colors are a little washed out on it and not exactly screen accurate, but still, that's just kind of nice. There's a lot of outdated features with that particular statue, but the light up, the practicality and pragmatics of the light up features certainly are not outdated in my opinion. Alrighty, guys, almost there. We are working our way down the shelf. We've got some episode 3 love down here. Check this out. I've got my old Sideshow Collectibles Sith Lord Anakin Skywalker. That was a Comic-Con exclusive. I think that was a Comic-Con exclusive back in 2007, 2006. Whenever I was at Comic-Con, picked it up at the show. So that was cool, going to Comic-Con and getting my Sideshow Collectibles Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader figure. Then there's the episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's from 2006, 2007. That's the first version that Sideshow did. Obviously, it's been replaced by my Hot Toys, but still has a nice place here on the shelf. Got some Hasbro love down here too. Got some awesome Wookiee action there. Got that, forget what this clone transport is, but it's really cool. That was featured in episode 3 there on Kashyyyk. And then, of course, I've got Darth Vader there as he's being resurrected, basically, with Sidious. That's actually a Sidious from episode 1, but it works great as a stand-in. And then, of course, there's R2-D2 with his rocket boosters there, flaming up some super battle droids. Really cool. There's an episode 3 puzzle back there. Just really cool graphic art on that one. And then there is chicken fried steaked Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. So it's just like it's a fresh, gooey looking Anakin Skywalker as opposed to the one we saw in as opposed to his appearance in Return of the Jedi. This one is fresh and still really sticky. I love that piece a lot. It's just, you just see it's just so well done. You just see the pain in his eyes, the intense searing pain and anger. Alrighty, guys, so moving down the shelf, our final shelf here is I've got some really, really cool vintage love down here, including that Star Wars record tote. Recently picked that up, actually. That's not from my childhood by any stretch. That's actually only been in the collection for a couple weeks. But picked that up, and I really, really like it. It's almost in like minty condition. There's a few creases and folds on it and stuff, and I think someone wrote their name on the inside of it, but that's okay. So yeah, really, really cool. Then I got these Hallmark lunch boxes. They're miniature lunch boxes. They're not like ornament size, but they're miniature. They're not the standard size of like a lunch box. They're little mini lunch boxes. Those were sold by Hallmark, and I got those back in like 2001. So they've been with me for like 20 years. It's like funny stuff that, I don't think of as vintage now really is kind of vintage, because it's as old as vintage was when I was collecting as an adult. So it's kind of a strange paradigm there. but kind of cool. And there is my vintage, speaking of real vintage, my vintage land speeder there from my childhood with my vintage Luke Skywalker from my childhood and my vintage Obi-Wan Kenobi from my childhood, although that is a reproduction vinyl cape on him. I think it's pretty obvious that's a reproduction, but it still is a nice stand-in. And then there is a C-3PO and an R2-D2 on the back. I don't think those are from my childhood. I think I picked those up. I bought a bunch of pairs of C-3PO and R2-D2 to fill out my collection, in my adulthood, vintage ones, just to fill out in different scenes and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then over here is the Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon, yet another one. Yeah, I bought two. I bought this one later on, though. And down below, that is actually my C-3PO, my removable limb C-3PO from my childhood. And then I've got Princess Leia in Bespin and Han Solo in Bespin. And then that Chewbacca is actually a 1995 reissue. And the Princess Leia and Han Solo I bought later on as well. So not from my childhood, but the C-3PO was. So very, very cool. And there's a stuffed Jawa here as we're rounding out the damn collection. He came with a jack-o'-lantern. He was actually a Halloween decoration. I just ripped the jack-o'-lantern out of his hands, and now he can hang out in the collection year-round. And there is my Return of the Jedi graphic novel that I got in 1983, framed up. Looks really cool. The book didn't really fit in the frame, so I scotch taped the glass onto the frame, but whatever. It's in there and it's protected. So anyway, I got that as a kid. That was like the first comic book my mom ever bought me. My mom sort of had a anti-comic book stance when I was really little, and she lamented on that later on, and I ended up getting a lot of comic books from her, but that was the first, I think. And then up here, just rounding things out, guys, is my Return of the Jedi storybook I got in the first grade in the spring of 1983. The film wasn't even out yet, and I got this thing in my hot little hands from one of those Scholastic book orders. You guys remember those as a kid? So anyway, I got this in the spring of 1983. I remember thumbing through the pages and just being in awe what the new Star Wars movie was going to bring. Again, that was in the summer of 83. I was in the first grade. It was just like the right age to be a Star Wars fan. I absolutely hit the sweet spot on that as far as being young for that time. And I forgot to show the shelf off. Shit. So anyway, there's my X-Wing Fighter Black Series helmet. That is really, really cool. I've never actually showed this off on the channel yet, but it fits my head and it's awesome. It's an absolutely amazing piece. And then there's a Bandai model kit I put together way, way early in the history of the channel. It's kind of I don't know. It's okay. I did okay on it. I'm not a real model kit kind of guy, but I did okay on it. And then there is a little Titanium Series Death Star, my Sideshow Collectibles, Luke Skywalker and X-Wing fighter gear from Episode 4. And then back there, you guys will see my VHS tapes of the original Star Wars trilogy. Those are from the 80s. I got those in like 1988, 1989. Those are the first official home media I ever got of Star Wars. Before that, I never owned Star Wars on VHS except for maybe something we taped off the television set. So those are my first official Star Wars VHSs that I owned, and I got them when I was in middle school. So it was a little past the peak years of my Star Wars fandom as a kid. So anyway, very, very cool. And then finally, guys, we're about at the end. Finally, there's some postcards that were put out around the same time as the special edition. Got those at a comic book store in like 2000. There's some reproduction patches that I got from the fan club. I think from the old Star Wars fan club, but not the old Star Wars fan club. I mean, back when you got like a hyperspace membership back in the mid 2000s. There's a Bantha Tracks patch. And then there's a Empire Strikes Back patch. Again, those are 2000s reproductions of the originals, but still very cool. And then there's little Knick Knack with his Millennium Falcon on Christmas morning. My minty fresh, out of the box Millennium Falcon. Christmas morning, probably Christmas of 1981, 1982, one of those. Really cool. Look at that old school China hutch behind me and a giant house plant. There I am. I've got a Denver Broncos robe and a Dallas Cowboys set of pajamas on, so that's a little bit of a paradigm. But yeah, very cool. That's where it all started, guys, right there. And then over here, I've got my Return of the Jedi activity book from when I was a kid. Framed that up. I've always loved that, the cover of that with Luke Skywalker and his lightsaber. And then finally, last piece, my dewback. It's the centerpiece. It's right above my fireplace. I rarely turn on my fireplace because heat rises and it makes my dewback kind of warm, so I don't like to run it. But there's my Sideshow Collectibles dewback with a Sideshow Collectibles Sergeant Stormtrooper on top with a red paladrone, whatever. Kind of the wrong trooper to have on top of there, but it looks great. With a Star Wars metal tin sign that I got from Hobby Lobby. That's it, guys. That's the collection. Holy shit. We're done. Alrighty, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour of my Star Wars collection. This has been like 3 nights in the filming of. I don't know if you've noticed that. I filmed during the day, during lunch breaks at work, and I filmed during the night as well. And so it's been like 3 nights of filming with some days thrown in there as well. And just giving you guys one more little 360 of the entire room. I hope you don't mind my mug in the middle there, but I'm sort of taking a bow at this point. It was a lot to film, but it was 40 years of collecting. And the scary part is, this isn't all of it. I do have more downstairs in totes and that I don't currently have out. And I've been slowly getting more and more out the last couple months, last several months. But yeah, this isn't all of it. And, you know, I did move all of my sequel collectibles down to the basement. They don't belong in here anymore, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, this is it. This is just an amazing collection. I love this collection. This is, you know, outside of, you know, my accomplishments in life and marriage, children, career. This is one of my most proud possessions, is my Star Wars collection. And I'm really proud to show it to you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Plastic Planet. Please like, share, comment. Please do subscribe, guys, if you're not a subscriber. And thank you so much for hanging with me this long. I know this was a really, really long video. I had a good time making it, and I'm a little exhausted right now from crawling around and climbing up on shit and talking so much. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you, like I said, if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing, guys. And remember, guys, life is also very, very, very short. So get out there and fill it. Fill it with some plastic crap, like I did with all this shit. But it's awesome shit. All right, guys. Till next time. Got more videos coming for you guys, I promise. Later. Love ya. Bye.